But sometimes we've built something incredible and nobody's coming. In fact, I think it's very rare for someone to build or create something and have it sell out or attract millions of customers without them putting any work into marketing it. Even the biggest companies in the world with some of the greatest products ever invented spend millions of dollars on advertising, which obviously I'm not suggesting you do. But guess what? It's okay to go out and tell people about the incredible things that you've built. Hey there, I'm Rachel Ehring, and you're listening to the Top Music Piano Podcast. Get inspired as we discuss creative resources, trends in piano pedagogy, ways to grow your income and streamline your studio, and new ways to engage your students each week. If you are a teacher who wants to go beyond the method books to create an innovative studio that fosters lifelong music makers, you've come to the right place. Hello again, piano teachers. I am here with you in another solo episode for the second week in a row, which I don't usually do. And I think I might have even promised you a guest interview at the end of last week's episode, so I apologize. But sometimes things don't go as planned. I actually messed up with the scheduling, so here I am. But there have been some things on my mind recently that I thought I would share in hopes that they might be helpful for you too. In some ways, this is a follow-up to last week's episode about consistency. But if you didn't listen to that one yet, don't worry. You don't have to listen to them in order. You can go back and listen to that one later. But if you did listen to last week's episode, you heard me talk about the Instagram reel that I had go viral after 30 days of posting reels every single day. I heard this quote today that ties in perfectly with that. So I thought I would start by sharing that. The quote is, "Virality isn't a strategy, but rather an outcome from consistency." Unfortunately, I don't know who said it, but I think there are probably a number of people who have said some version of that. Another one that I like is count uploads, not views, meaning focus on what you can control, which is how many times you post or upload, rather than what you can't control, which is how many people watch your content. I know so far it sounds like I'm just talking about creating digital content, but I promise I'm going to get to how these ideas apply to piano teachers, so stick with me. Today I'm going to share some marketing shifts that I've been thinking about that I hope will challenge your thinking about whatever it is that you are marketing. Now you might be thinking, but Rachel, I'm not marketing anything. I don't want to be selling anything. I just want to teach and be the best teacher I can be. And then the word will get out about what a great teacher I am, and I won't have to sell myself or do any marketing. Now, I'm here to say I absolutely want you to be the best teacher you can be. And honestly, the word will get out and you will attract students. But what if the process is going slower than you'd like? Or what if you move to a new area, or for various reasons you lose some of your students and need to quickly fill their slots? I also know that many of you who are listening do have digital products that you also sell in addition to teaching. You might compose music or sell digital games or offer coaching or some other digital products. After all, we are piano teachers, which means we are creative, right? These ideas are for you to help you attract your ideal customers, whether that is more students or perhaps other teachers or pianists. First of all, I want to talk about marketing because we often think of it just as selling. And I might be about to ruffle some feathers here, but I've heard piano teachers talk about people being too salesy online. And yes, I know what they mean, but I also want to challenge that idea. To me, marketing is only too salesy if the product doesn't live up to the hype or what it promises. If you buy something off of a commercial that claims you're going to get these amazing results, and then the actual product and results are underwhelming at best, then you've been sold, right? And I don't see piano teachers doing that. If you are genuinely helping people with your product, whether that is a digital product or piano lessons, then you are not being too salesy. And you should stop worrying about being perceived as such. Here's the other thing I would say to people who shy away from sales and marketing. I think we've been told this idea that if we build it, they will come. but sometimes we've built something incredible and nobody's coming. In fact, I think it's very rare for someone to build or create something and have it sell out or attract millions of customers without them putting any work into marketing it. Even the biggest companies in the world with some of the greatest products ever invented spend millions of dollars on advertising, which obviously I'm not suggesting you do. But guess what? It's okay to go out and tell people about the incredible things that you've built. That's what real marketing is, in my opinion. It's sharing this thing, whether that's piano lessons or something else that you've worked so hard to create, and you want everyone to know about it because it's amazing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you should not apologize for sharing your passion with the world. Go ahead and shout it from the rooftops, because the more people who know about it, the more people you can help and serve through your offer. Okay, I'm getting a little worked up already, and we've barely gotten started. Let's pivot just a little bit here. I want to give you 5 marketing ideas and how I think that they apply to piano teachers today. We're nearing the end of 2025, going into 2026. And so these are things that I see working right now. The first one is that you want to focus on who you are serving, not yourself. Now, this might seem obvious, but I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a piano teacher's website and the first thing I see is their bio with the degrees they have, the competitions they've won, who they've studied with. And those things are great, and they might be impressive to maybe another piano teacher, but most potential students and their parents don't care. If you gave them the option of a teacher with all the degrees and accolades, or the teacher that made their child feel amazing about piano and motivated them to practice, which teacher are they going to choose? So I want you to take a hard look at your marketing and make sure that it focuses on who you are serving and not just yourself. Yes, there's a time and place for sharing about yourself, but even then, think about how you can share in a way that is relatable and makes you seem human rather than just the degrees and repertoire that you've played. The second thing is related to the first, and it is as you focus on who you are serving, focus on the transformation that you can give them. What transformation are you able to provide to your students? Maybe you are great at teaching improvisation, or maybe all of your students compose a song by the end of the year. Perhaps you create confident performers through recitals and performance classes. Think about what sets your students apart and how you can talk about that in your marketing. This is also a great thing to focus on when you are getting testimonials. So if you can frame a couple of questions to get testimonials that focus on the transformation, that's going to be great for your marketing. When you ask for a testimonial, you could say something as simple as, share how being part of the studio has shaped or changed your child as a musician. Or you might be able to ask a question that focuses on how their child was before taking lessons with you. So before starting lessons with Miss C, my child never practiced, but now I have to tell her to stop practicing to finish her homework. Something like that is what you're looking for by asking these questions in regards to testimonials. Now, speaking of testimonials, number 3 is also directly related to that. I know I said that these are marketing tips for when word of mouth isn't quite cutting it. But that being said, if you can get people to talk about your services, it is going to mean even more than when it comes from you. I remember a while back, I had posted about one of my sound effects stories that I sell in my Etsy store. And to be fair, I did not shout it from the rooftops. I was more in the camp of thinking if I build it, they would come. But I posted a couple times about it on Instagram. I sent out an email and I sold a few, maybe like 3 or 4. I don't know. It wasn't many. And then without any prompting from me, another piano teacher who had bought it shared about it on her stories on Instagram. And she was saying all these really nice things about it, how great it was, how she loved using it with her students. And all of a sudden, I had more sales from her one Instagram story than I had from when I posted about it and emailed it about it to my people. You would think that people who are already in my world as followers or email subscribers would be more likely to buy from me. But it turns out that having someone else's stamp of approval can actually be more effective than tooting our own horn. I know this one is probably most effective when it happens organically, like it did in that case, but there are ways to help the process along. If someone tells you something great about what you offer, ask them if you can share it, or even better, ask them if they would share it with other people. If someone really loves something, they will be so happy to share about it. All right, for number 4, I have to tell you a story. When I first was getting into creating digital products, I listened to a lot of podcasts by Amy Porterfield, who I love, and I even took her Digital Course Academy. And I listened to a lot of other big name marketing people as well. And if you don't know who Amy Porterfield is, she's known for being the go-to person for creating and selling digital courses. So when I was going through her course, there were thousands of people in the program, which honestly, I wasn't expecting there to be that many, but there were. So even though she did a lot of live coaching calls, I never actually spoke directly to Amy Porterfield, even though I went through the course. If I had a question or a tech problem, someone from her team would respond to me, right? So I think I subconsciously got this idea in my head that marketing shouldn't be personal. It's not one-to-one. I thought that good marketing meant that I create this great product or piece of content that attracts all these people, and then they automatically get on my email list and they start buying my products, and I don't even know who these people are. And yes, if you're Amy Porterfield, that's how it happens. But for most of us, marketing is going to be about building individual relationships. We might have multiple conversations with someone before they decide to buy from us. Maybe if you're growing your home studio, you take little treat bags to all the neighbors with your card attached and have actual conversations with them about their families and what their kids are interested in. In a world where it seems like everything is automated, the way to stand out is by not being automated. Now, I'm definitely not talking about getting rid of your automated systems. In fact, streamlining your systems will give you more time for these personal touches. It's not going to make you look small or desperate to do things that make someone feel seen and special as an individual. Making someone feel seen and special is actually the greatest marketing secret there is. Again, it's not salesy or cringy if what you are selling actually helps them and maybe even exceeds their expectations. Speaking of exceeding expectations, that brings us to number 5, which indeed is exceed expectations whenever possible. My friend Amy Elmore calls it surprise and delight. And let me tell you, Amy is the queen of surprising and delighting. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. I probably should have asked her. Sorry, Amy. She recently did a one-off music class for moms and their toddlers in the park, and she took little goodie bags with a few cute little surprises for the kids. In fact, I don't think Amy has ever hosted an event where she hasn't surprised and delighted her guests. But it doesn't even have to be something that you spend money on. You could surprise your students with a joke of the week or ask them a silly question at the end of their lesson and then write everyone's answers on a big poster board. Maybe you could surprise them by playing a piece for them that you've been working on, or if you're not comfortable with that, playing a YouTube video of some phenomenal performance that you saw recently. Perhaps you could surprise and delight your students' parents by sending a little video of something their child did in lessons that was extra special. So I was thinking about how to end this podcast with these 5 quick little marketing ideas. And I thought, well, obviously I should surprise and delight my listeners with something. So I decided, since this is airing at the end of October, I would give you one of my sound effects stories that I normally charge for in my Etsy store. And this one is perfect for Thanksgiving if you are in the US, but it's about gratitude. So if you aren't in a place that is celebrating Thanksgiving, it doesn't matter because gratitude is a year-round concept. I'll put the link in the show notes that you can click on to get your free gratitude sound effects story to use with your beginning piano students. I'll tell you, some of my sound effects stories teach specific musical concepts like groups of 2 and 3 black notes or tapping rhythms, things like that. But this one is just improvisation, where the student is creating sound effects that go along with a gratitude poem. And it also has a little gratitude journal where your students can list things that he or she is grateful for. So check that out in the show notes. And let me know if you heard anything today that you want to try in your marketing. Next week, I'm pretty sure we'll have a guest on the show. So thank you so much for listening. It means so much to me that you tune in every week, and feel free to reach out anytime if you have questions about the episode or if you have ideas for guests that I should interview. I always love to hear from you. All right, that's all for today's short little episode. I'm Rachel Ehring, and this is the Top Music Piano Podcast.
How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages, both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support, and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts, and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today.